Welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. We have Stevie, Nicol, Julien Laurens and Donato Ucchisini, which is his new name since he became an honorary Italian after visiting Milan. Yes. But we almost didn't have him tonight.
I meant to ask, hey, Hutchison, did you ask Shevchenko about his penalty in Istanbul by any chance?
No.
We almost didn't have
you. That would go down well.
Don, what's going on with your internet?
Okay, honestly, it's driving me up the wall. It's been perfect for months.
Oh, look at the state of that.
You've been in Italy.
Hold on a minute. You've been in Italy for 2 seconds and you're giving all this.
Exactly.
Honestly.
Exactly. I've come back from Italy.
How long were you there? 2 days? 2 days and he's
2
days and he's
Eating
not
in chain
out
restaurants.
Yeah.
The first question is for Donato. What is the percentage chance that City win the treble? Jules said it's only 23%.
What? That seems low, Jules.
Aye.
No, listen. I mean, you're bad in math, so you might not understand. I said 70-30 winning the Premier League, 60-40 winning the FA Cup, and 51-49 beating Real Madrid and then winning the Champions League, because I think if they beat Real Madrid, they're going to win the Champions League. But if you want, the percentage of all those three together is 23% by the law of math, if you want. So that's why it's so low. But if I give you all the percentages, it doesn't feel that low.
Yeah, I'm not going into law of percentages. I'm just going Donato's law of percentages. I'm going 70-30 in favour.
70-30 in favour. All right. I think it's also told us that Don appears often on the Gab and Jules podcast but doesn't listen to it, because that's where he would have heard how Jules came to his maths on the 23%.
I'll get it tomorrow.
We'll let you off, Don, because we know you've been on your Italian adventure.
Yeah.
Next question, Stevie. Is it a big problem that Real Madrid plays on Saturday while City play on Sunday? Guardiola was frustrated in his press conference about this.
Well, I think no question. Listen, games like these and ties like these, it's going to be decided by the smallest margin.
And it's decided by the Eurovision Song Contest because the game would have been
yeah.
So,
I
obviously not a fan.
Yeah. I mean, I understand his frustration. Any sort of advantage that goes the way of Real Madrid isn't good for him and his team, so I understand why he's disappointed. Yeah, absolutely. It will make some sort of difference, yes.
Jules, do you see Bellingham starting games for Madrid? Who does he replace? Will Madrid have to change the formation to accommodate him?
It's a good question, but to answer it, we need to know exactly what will happen to Luka Modric and Toni Kroos, who, I mean, we believe have agreed a new deal at Real Madrid, a year extension, but it hasn't been officially announced yet. It's a very different story if they're there or not there, of course. If you consider that they will be there, I think there will be some rotation between Valverde and Camavinga. Tchouaméni seems not to be as high in the pecking order that he used to be earlier in the season. Bellingham, of course, and then Modric and Kroos not going to play every single minute of every single game either. So changing the formation, I don't think so. So you'll fight for a place. Bellingham might need a bit of time to adapt to the new team, a new league, etc. He might not, and you might very quickly see him starting with Valverde, Camavinga, for example, and having Modric and Kroos still playing quite a lot of minutes, sometimes starting, sometimes coming off the bench, sometimes being rested as well. I think it would be amazing for Madrid to have so many options in midfield, certainly until Kroos and Modric move on, which might be again in the following summer 2024.
And just while we're on it as well, Jules, there's been talk about whether City would be able to steal in and get him. What's your feeling on where would be a better fit for him right now, or the best option?
I mean, financially, it doesn't matter, because I think they will offer the same thing pretty much. Let's be honest here. So then it's down to what manager he would want to work with. And on one hand, he's got Pep Guardiola, who we know will be there and stay. On the other hand, we're not sure who's going to be Real Madrid manager next season. Yeah, of course, it could be Carlo for the last year of his contract. It might also not be. Maybe he thinks that he still has, because he's only 20, plenty of time then to go back to England and go to Liverpool, for example, who seems to be his favourite before they put themselves out of the race. maybe more than City. Maybe City was never that appealing to him. I don't know. I think, and we've said it many times on many transfers, I think it's hard to say no to a club like Real Madrid just because you don't know if that train is going to come again. Going back to England, because he's English, he will have many opportunities in the near future to do that. So right now, take this great opportunity to play for Real Madrid, especially this Real Madrid team. And then in 3-4 years' time, you can go to City, Liverpool, United, wherever you want in England. There will always be a team for you there because you're Jude Bellingham. So I can understand if that's what he chooses to do. I can understand why he would be tempted to go to Real Madrid now instead of going back to England now.
Don, where should Declan Rice move this summer and how much is he getting sold for?
Cool. Well, West Ham say they want 120 million. That seems a lot of money. He's a better player than Enzo Fernandez, in my opinion. So if that's the number and he was 115, then it won't be a million miles away from that. I don't think it'll be over 100, to be fair. Arsenal seem to be the favourites. They could all do with him. I mean, when you talk Man City and Jude Bellingham, you could talk Man City and Declan Rice because Gundogan, one of my favourite players that's played for Man City over the last, I don't know, whatever he's been there, 8-9 years. I think he's an unbelievable player with a high football IQ that looks like he might be moving on in the summer. Pep's first signing, so that'll take some replacement. So Declan Rice could be great for Man City, could be great for Liverpool. They definitely need someone like Rice. But I've got a funny feeling, just what I'm reading in the press back home, that Arsenal seem to be the favourites and he'd be amazing for them.
Arsenal, Declan Rice, Stevie?
Aye, yeah, I tend to agree with Don. Yeah, Liverpool ain't paying that amount of money. The last time I saw Rodri playing, I don't think he's ready for the scrapyard yet. So, yeah, Arsenal makes sense.
Okay. Do you have a feeling towards it, Jules? I wonder if Arsenal's where you think too.
Yeah, I mean, on the price, it's interesting. I mean, and David Moyes today, for the first time, I think, kind of admitted that he said as much as we would love him to stay, we know that he can go as well. And I think for the first time, really, they kind of admitted that his time at West Ham, and this is exactly the kind of player that you would love him to stay at the club for all his career. He's just, no offense to West Ham, he's just too good now, and he's an amazing player for me. Still a bit underappreciated, I think, in England. I don't know why, but an incredible player. And I think whoever signs him, I think Arsenal, the boys are right, are maybe slightly ahead of others. We'll have an amazing player who's still so young, who I think can develop into anything really, and can play almost anywhere in that double pivot. You could ask him to sit, he will. You can ask him to be a bit more box to box, he will. We've seen him scoring some great goals lately with West Ham as well. I think he's an unbelievable player. So I think 80 million he will go. I think they'll sell him for that, and that would be a great piece of business. But they will try to get as much money as they can, of course.
Don, you are a sporting director and you are looking to buy some players. Out of the players currently at clubs in the relegation battle, which ones are you most interested in for your club?
Wow, I mean, I think Yuri Tielemans is on a free transfer, so he'd come into the conversation. I think James Maddison, I can see him going to Newcastle. Harvey Barnes is another one I think is a fantastic player. So I think some players out of Leicester, I think I'd definitely take. Leeds, not too many. Maybe Jack Harrison, who I like. Southampton, James Ward-Prowse is an obvious one. You know, he's been really unlucky. I think when I look at Everton over the years, not Everton in the bottom three, Everton when they've been trying to be mid-table and trying to get into, you know, where the likes of Brentford and Fulham are, sort of top 8, top 9. James Ward-Prowse, I think, should have been at Everton 4 or 5 years ago. He's the right profile, amazing player, not just because he takes great free kicks, but in terms of his attitude and how he plays the game. So I think the boys and the names that I've mentioned there, I think I would certainly take because they can play at a high level.
Jules, who has the best kit in Europe this season and who has the worst? Unluckiest, Liverpool in disco ball white. Best and worst kits in Europe.
Wow. Oh, I need a bit of time to prepare for that. Best and worst.
Tell you what, you're asking the right man.
I know.
You're asking the right man, yeah.
I know, but I need to think, Stevie, about this one.
We'll let him have a think. Have you got a kit that stands out that you always thought was lovely just over the years?
I liked the kits we had. I liked the yellow. The yellow with the red pinstripe through it was a great strip. As was the red with a white pinstripe as well. I absolutely hated the green one we had. Green and white, it was awful. And I've no idea where green and white came from. And we couldn't win a game with it on either. So, yeah, no, I didn't like that one.
What about you, Don? What kit stands out to you? It doesn't just have to be this season; it can be all time.
Yeah, well, Stevie's right. I mean, I think on Boxing Day, I think there should be an unwritten law in the Premier League or anywhere in Europe. You have to wear your traditional kit. So I can remember Newcastle's kit in the 80s with a blue star. That was one of the most famous ones. Everton's were Hafina across the middle when Peter Reid and Graham Sharp and Sheedy used to play. Stevie's Liverpool kits are iconic. Even the clubs like Torino, even clubs like Sampdoria and Roma. I think amazing kits, but I really think the kits back in the 80s and 90s, more so 80s, I think were more iconic, I think, than the kits today.
Jules, back to you.
He looks worried.
So I'll go the best. I think the Ajax third kit with the gold, the three stripes and the gold on each side is beautiful. And because third kits are so special, and the boys were talking about their kits when they were playing, where you didn't have a third one, let alone the fourth one, like we see now for marketing reasons, and sometimes the colors are not even nowhere near your club's colors, which is wrong. The City third kit with the bright yellow and black or greenish, and this one I don't like at all. So yeah, I will go for those two.
All right, so he won't be wearing that one on his podcast anytime soon. The last question's a weird one. I think maybe I don't even know if anyone could answer it because even I can't, and I'm from Teesside. It says, do they prefer garlic sauce or Manjaro's own special sauce with their parmo?
What's that?
Exactly. So on a parmo, it's
Garlic sauce.
So the parmo, as we've established before, is a delicacy from Middlesbrough.
Sounds
as
good.
we've seen, Alexis and Zach Stefan having a competition to make one. And they usually come with garlic sauce, but then there's a restaurant in town called Manjaro's and they do their own special sauce, which none of us have tried. So, yeah, it's a bit of a tough one to answer, really. Has anybody had a parmo? Don, have you had a parmo?
Maybe we can send... Don's not getting out much recently, by the sounds of it.
Nobu,
yeah, but we could send Don there to let him
Don
try
only
it.
goes to Nobu. Is there Nobu in Middlesbrough? Is there Nobu in Middlesbrough?
What do you think?
Don?
No. They've got Parmo and they've got Psych, haven't they, Kay?
There you go. Have you tried a parmo, Don?
Years ago, like, I don't know, 20 years ago, after a night out. Amazing. I tell you what, I've never got.
Still burning the calories off now?
Yeah, exactly. I tell you what, I've never got ever is people who have like garlic mayonnaise. Like garlic mayonnaise. I'd rather have like a chili sauce or something. Garlic mayonnaise. Awful.
Garlic mayonnaise. Not going to get a snog at the end of the night if you've had garlic mayonnaise.
No. Nah.
Okay, that will do it for the latest edition of Extra Time.
Yeah, but if you've both had it, you'll never know.
That's the good thing. If you're going to have it, make sure that
your
whoever
partner has it as well.
Yeah, make sure that they have it too. You know the rules, Stevie.
Aye.
ESPN FC, available daily, as is Extra Time. Check us out on ESPN Plus and the YouTube page every single day.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.